Good evening, everybody, and welcome to week number 4 in March of Women's History Month readings. Tonight we have a very special, well, every week is very special, but this one in particular is a little bit more spicy than the other ones. This one being that we are reviving a fan favorite. We are back doing the Scottish play from when we did it in May of 2020. And this time in the director seats, we have Hayden Lummus and in the director's chair, who is a member of my team. And I'm so excited that he had this vision. He was like, I want to do this. And I said, it's perfect. Hi, Hayden. How are you?
Hello, I am good. And yeah, Macbeth is just a great play. It's one of my favorite ones, and I am super excited to do this one with Chaos and with this amazing cast of people we have. And
we have a really good cast.
And it is just going to be amazing. And you will see me as a character as well, hence the name Ross in the corner there.
What? I didn't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being sure. No, I'm so excited that you're doing this, Hayden. I'm really excited for this cast. I'm really excited for everybody to watch it. It's also just really cool. I can't believe I'm on year 3. We're on almost year 3 of doing this. And I remember the last time we did this, I was sitting in my bedroom well, I'm not going to reveal where my bedroom was in my parents' house, but I was sitting on the floor. We were doing it and it was creepy. And like right now my window is very dark, and we're just getting that spooky spiel again. And I'm very excited. Oh, good job, Hayden. What was I going to say? We are going to take a 5-minute intermission, right? And if you are interested, for those of you who are watching, if you are interested in coming back to do one of these rather chaotic readings in the best way possible, next week we're closing out Women's History Month with the Sandra Bullock film Miss Congeniality, which I am very excited about because, again, this is a movie. I don't know how it's going to translate on Zoom, but we're going to have a hell of a time. So anything, I need to stop talking. So sit back, relax. Hayden, again, thank you for directing. I'm so excited for you to see your vision come to life. And thank you, of course, to the
thank
cast.
You for letting me.
Duh. And thank you again to the cast, the team, for all of you who are watching. And without further ado, may we present to you William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
We art hither to gaze a story older than time itself. A story about power, and how far a sir or mistress wilt wend to acquire power. And like any journey for power, we findeth ourselves on a field, ravaged by war. The gentle king, Duncan, his sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, a loyal thane, Lennox, and other nameless liegemen of the coronet, all survey the field whether they did achieve victory. They meet a bleeding sergeant.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt to the new estate.
This is the sergeant, who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless Macdonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallow glasses is supplied, and fortune, on his damned quarrel, smiling showed like a rebel's whore. but all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves the name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chops, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, the sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. But I am weak. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go, get him surgeons.
The sergeant is led off by some of the liegemen. Enter Ross, another thing.
Who comes here?
The worthy thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom lapped in proof, fronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious harm against harm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
That now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men till he dispersed at St. Colm's Inch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Excellent. I walketh on to this blasted field. I appeareth as one, but I walketh as three. Mine sisters within myself taketh control over mine actions, to playeth the game of prescient fate tellers. When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. That will be ere the set of sun. Where be the place? Upon this heath, here to meet with Macbeth.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How forest call to fors? What is this? So withered and so wild in her attire that look not like the inhabitant on the earth, and yet is on it. Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me.
Speak if you can, what are you?
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis. All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor. All hail, Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly you show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Lesser than Macbeth, and greater. Not so happy, yet much happier. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Stay, you imperfect speaker. Tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis. But Cawdor, the Thane of Cawdor, lives a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief. No more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and she is of them. Whither has she vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporeal melted as breath into the wind. Would she had stayed?
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be king.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor, too. When did that go?
Yes, to the self-same tune and words. Ah, who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and, when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norrean ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
But we are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into a sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What, can the devil speak true?
Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that was both. He labored into his country's wrack. I know not, but treasonous capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown it.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings? And those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray's in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to this swelling act of the imperial theme. The supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs? Against the use of nature, present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought whose murder yet is but fantastical shakes, so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not. If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what, come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turned the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and add more time the interim having waited. Let us speak our free hearts to each other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Exeunt. The throne room of King Duncan's castle. Enter King Duncan and Malcolm, the favored son.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built absolute trust.
Enter Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, and Lennox.
Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honor.
Welcome thither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, nor must be known, no less to have done so, let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else leap. For in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not the light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
Macbeth, determined to make fate instead of waiting, exits.
True, worthy Banquo, He is full of valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
Exeunt. Enter Lady Macbeth, alone, reading a letter from Macbeth himself.
You met me in the day of success, and I have learnt by the perfectest report she has more in her than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question her further, she made herself air into which she vanished. While I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, there came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before this weird sister had saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with all hail, king that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou might not loose the joys of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness has promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Clams thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be, thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. But thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What wouldst highly, and wouldst thou holily? Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou dost have great clamage which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishest to be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour thy spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, that which fate and metaphysical aid does seem to have thee crowned with all. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Mad to say it! Is not thy master with him, who as so would have informed for preparations?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, whom almost dead for breath, and scarcely more than would make up his message.
No good intending, he brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, but full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shape my fell purpose, nor keep the peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall. You murdering ministers, you, wherein your slightest substances you wait on nature's mischief. Night, and pull thee in the Adonis smoke of hell, nor that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peek through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold! Hold!
Enter Macbeth.
Great gods, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereoft. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel the future now in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan, comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters to beguile the time. Look like the time. Bear welcome in your hand, your eye, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. You to alter favour ever is to fear. You just leave all the rest to me.
They leaveth to begin their plotting. The great hall of Macbeth's castle. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, and Ross.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, this temple-haunting martlet does approve by his loved masonry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, or coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle where they most breed and haunt. I have observed, the air is delicate.
See, our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
Oh, all our service in every point twice done, and then done double. Were poor and simple business to contend against those honour deep and broad wherewith your majesty holds our house. And for those of old and the late dignities heaped up upon them, we rest all your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels, and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guest tonight.
Oh, your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs is comped to make their audit at your highness's pleasure. Still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
Exeunt. The hallway of Macbeth's castle. Enter Macbeth.
If it were done when it's done, then it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the conscience and catch with its surcease success, but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here, but here upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plagueth the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, the tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition which overleaps itself and falls on the other.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
How now? What news?
He is almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as art and desire? Wouldst thou have that with thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than that. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves now their fit, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I mean, I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and dashed its brains out. I had so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains, which I will with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a few, and the receipt of reason a limbic only, when in swinish sleep their dredged natures lies as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men, children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers, that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other? As we shall make our greaves and clamour, and we will roar upon his death.
I have settled and bent up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Exeunt. The great hall of Macbeth's castle. Enter Banquo and Fleance.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take 'tis later, sir.
Hold. Take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Here, take thee that too. Heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose.
Enter Macbeth.
Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend?
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the weird sisters. To you she hath shown some truth.
I think not of her. Yet when can we entreat an hour to serve? We would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
You shall cleave to my consent when 'tis. I shall make honor for you.
So I lose not in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance dear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Banquo and Fleance exit, leaving Macbeth all alone.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle to my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going. Such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs this to my eyes. O'er the one half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain's sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls is watched thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou art sure and firm set, earth. Hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whiles I threat he lives, words to heat of deeds to cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
He exits. Enter Lady Macbeth.
Which have made them drunk, hath made me bold. What hath quenched them has given me fire. Peace. It was the owl that shrieked. Fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the suffrated grooves do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their posets. The death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I'm afraid that they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. I had laid their daggers ready, he could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it.
Enter Macbeth with bloody daggers.
My husband!
I've done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now!
As I descended.
I,
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
This is a sorry sight.
Foolish fool to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried, "Murder!" They did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
They are two lodged together.
One cried, "God bless us," and "Amen," the other. And they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear. I could not say amen when they did say, "God bless us."
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought of after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, "Sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep." The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the ravelet sleeve of care, the death of each day's life. Sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds. Great nature's second course, chief nourisher of life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, "Sleep no more," to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that just cried? Why, worthy Thane, do you unbend your noble strength to think so brain sickly of things? Go and get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hat. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look, hunt again, I dare not.
Infirm of us. Give me the daggers. The living and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis but the eye of childhood which fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Lady Macbeth, holding the bloody daggers, exits. A knock at the door disturbs the silence.
Whence is that knocking? Housed with me, and every noise appalls me. What hands are here? Have they plucked out mine eyes? Will all great Neptune wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine make the green one red.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
My hands are of your colour. I would shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. You will retire me to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy has left you unattended. Oh, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion calls us, and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not known to know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Exeunt. Enter A drunken porter amidst the knocking at the door.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were a porter of Hell Gate, he should have a turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here, you'll sweat for it. Oh, no, no. Who's there in the name of the other devil? Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear on both the scales against either scale. Committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Oh, no, no, no. Who's there? Ah, Faith, here's an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Oh, knock, knock, never that quiet. Why are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to let in all the professions that go to the primrose way, to the everlasting bonfire. Oh, anon, I pray you, remember the porter.
The drunk porter opens the door, and Macduff and Lennox enter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes, and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator. With lechery, it makes him and it mars him, it sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and it disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep and, giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
Oh, that it did, sir. I, in the very throat of me, but I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, though he took up my legs sometimes, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring?
A drunken porter exits as Macbeth, deprived of sleep, enters.
Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Was the king hence today?
He does. You don't think so?
Oh, the night has been unruly where we lay. Our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesizing with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was barbarous and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
Enter Macduff.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Talk no hard cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke open the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life o' the building.
What is you say, the life?
Mean you his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak, see and then speak yourselves. Awake, awake! Ring the alarm bell. Murder and treason, Banquo and Don O'Bain. Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, up and see the great doom's image. Malcolm, Banquo, as from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell.
As the drunken porter manages to ring the bell, Lady Macbeth enters.
Oh, what's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of this house? Right, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Whoa, alas. What, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere less is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not note, the spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all bathed with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury, that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pauser, reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature, for ruin's wasteful entrance. There the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love's known?
Help me hence. Oh.
Look to the lady.
Do we hold our tongues and most mainly claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate hidden in augur hole may rush and seize us? What's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady.
Lady Macbeth is assisted as she leaves.
And when we've had our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all.
Oh.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet the whole together.
Well contented.
Well contented.
All but Malcolm and Donalbain exit.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I, our separate fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers and men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that's shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft, which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Exeunt. The path leading away from the castle of Macbeth. One of mine sisters within myself did meet with Ross. Therefore, of 10 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Good sister. Thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, threatens his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is the night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
Oof. They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Oh, here comes the good Macduff. Oh, how goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
It's known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas the day. What good could they pretend?
They were born.
Macduff?
Oh, fuck. Hello?
Macduff, I know the murder of thine king is hard on thyself, but please, what are thine trying to say?
7.
They were suborned? Good sir.
He's already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Good sir, who do we speak of?
What is that?
The sons of the king?
Carried to Coccimiglio.
Never mind. Where is Duncan's body?
It carried to Coccimiglio, that sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin. Out to Pfeifer.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Farewell, sister.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad, and friends of foes. The throne room of Macbeth's castle. Enter Banquo.
Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird sister promised. And I fear thou playedest most foully for it. Yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, Why, by the verities on thee made good, may she not be my oracle as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Enter Macbeth, the new king, Lady Macbeth, Lennox, Ross, some lords, and a servant.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous, in this day's council, but we'll talk tomorrow. As far you ride.
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal, we shall have the cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, and you, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you.
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and I do commend you to their backs. Farewell.
Banquo exits as Macbeth returns to address everyone else.
Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you.
Exeunt all, except Macbeth and Ross.
Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. Hecate the sister, when first she put the name of king upon me and bade her speak to him, then prophet-like, she hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head she placed the fruitless crown and put barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filled my mind. For her gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for the sister. And mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there?
Enter Ross and 2 murderers.
Now go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please, Your Highness.
Well then, now have you considered my speeches? Know that it was he in times past which held you so under fortune, which you had thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might, to half a soul and to a notion crazed, say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue you go for men, as hounds with greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shuffs, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clept, all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. And so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I am another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I will set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True,
my lord.
So is he mine, and in such bloody distance, every minute of his being thrusts against the nearest of life. And though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down, and thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Through our lives.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't, for it must be done tonight, and something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than his, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are
resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within.
The murderers exit, determined to carry out this dark mission.
It is concluded. Banquo, thou soul's flight, if it find heaven, must it find out tonight?
Exeunt. The great hall of Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth and Ross.
Has Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king that I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
It's had all spent, for our desire is got without content. To say that to be that which you destroy, and by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Enter Macbeth.
Oh, now, my lord. Why do you keep alone? Of sorest fancies your companion's making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in the danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the world suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with it dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave, after life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason is the worst, nor steel nor poison, malice, domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, my gentle lord. Sleek over your rugged locks. Be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
So shall I, love. And so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must make our honors in these flattering streams, make our faces visards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou know'st that Banquo at his flayance lives.
But in their nature's company is not a turn.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summings, the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What is to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scoff up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces the great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens and the crow makes wing of the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whiles night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill, so prithee go with me.
Exeunt. A forest trail. Enter the two murderers and Ross.
But who did bid thee join us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers. Our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spuns the elated traveler apiece to gain a timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark, I hear horses.
Give us a light there, ho!
Then 'tis he, the rest that all within the note of expectation. Already are I the caught.
His horses are about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually, so all men do from hence to the palace gate make it their walk.
Enter Banquo and Fleance, the latter carrying a torch.
A light, a light.
'Tis he.
Stand to.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Ross and the two murderers attack.
Treachery! Fly! Fly, good Fleance! Fly! Fly, thou mayest revenge! O slave!
Banquo fights off the two murderers. Ross stabs Banquo in the back, killing him fast. Fleance gouts the torch and escapes the clutches of death.
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down. The sun is fled.
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away. Say how much is done.
And so, Ross slays the murderers whom he did acquire for his king. But his failure to slay the son of Banquo will have just as dire a consequence as the death of Banquo himself. Not for the fate of Ross, but for another son. Ross leaves, his face adorned by the blood of Banquo. The banquet hall of King Macbeth. Joined by his fair mistress and loyal subjects, he puts on airs of what a king is. Airs yond will fade faster, than the wind itself.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time, we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. For my heart speaks, they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon thy face.
Tis Banquo's then.
Is better thee without than he within? Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. It is good that did the like for Fleance. But thou didst it. Thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal, sir. Fleance escaped.
My fit again. It else been perfect. Whole as the marble, founded as the rock. As broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head. The least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled, hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, and that is not often vouched, till while 'tis making, 'tis given with welcome to feed where at the best at home. For thence the source to meat is ceremony, and meeting would bear without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now, good digestion wait on appetite. Health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Here had we now our country's honor roofed, with a graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What isn't that moves, your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentleman, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you'll offend him, and you'll extend his passion, and feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
I had a bold one, that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. These flaws and starts and postures of true fear will well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandon. Shame itself! Why do you make such faces? Said and done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there. Behold, look, to the ghost. Lo, how say you? Why, what care I if thou canst not speak too? If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What kind want man in folly?
If I stand there, I saw him.
Fight for shame!
Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since 2 murderers have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murderers on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My royal lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, and I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here! To all, and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties in the pledge. Our duties in the pledge.
Avaunt and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee, thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes, which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but this is a thing of custom, 'tis no other. Only it just spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare I dare? Approach thou, like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hircan tiger. Take thy shape, take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again, and bear me to desert with my sword. Trembling and I habit them, protest me, the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadows, unreal mockery, hence! Why, so being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting, with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud, without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you, speak not.
No, I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse, question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand on not the order of your going. But go at once.
Night and better health. Attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
Exeunt all, except Macbeth and Lady Macbeth.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot, pies, and chuffs, and rooks brought forth the seeker's man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house. I keep a servant, feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will. To the weird sister. More shall she speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that I should wade no more. Returning words, tedious as go over. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all nature's sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young, indeed.
Exeunt.
5-minute intermission.
Enter mine other sister within myself, picking flowers in this church garden. The air is misty, unusually so. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
How now, you secret black and midnight hag? How is 'twill you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. However you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's germans tumble altogether, even till destruction sickens, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak, demand, I'll answer. Say if thou hadst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call him, let me see him. I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall upon you. Let me know. Tell me, thou unknown power.
Macbeth. 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 Beware Macduff. Beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution. Thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
Macbeth! Macbeth! Macbeth!
Had I 3 years, I'd hear thee.
By bloody bold and resolute, no one of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? And yet I'll make assurance double sure and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this? It rises like the issue of a king and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Sweet Bodman's good! Rebellious dead rise never till the wood of Birnam rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Ah! Seek to know no more.
Where is she? Gone. At this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in, without there.
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sister?
No, my lord.
Came she not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon she rides. Damned all those that trust her. I did hear the galloping of a horse. Who else came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time, thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purposes ne'er is overtook, unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before the purpose cool. No more sights! Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Exeunt. The house of Macduff. Enter Ross, Lady Macduff, and her son.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch, for the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom, where the flight so runs against all reasons.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits the season. I dare not speak much further. But cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear. But float upon a wild and violent sea, each way, and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer? It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Ross walks hence, leaving the door to the house of Macduff open.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang them up. I mean, hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkst.
Enter The murderers.
What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou sly! Thou seconded ear villain!
The murderer stabs the son.
Young fry of treachery.
Lady Macduff.
He has killed me, mother.
Lady Macduff and the rest of the children are ruthlessly slaughtered. An English military camp. Malcolm and Macduff stand outside a general's tent.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall and birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face that it resounds, as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dollar.
What I believe, I'll wail. What now believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so. Perchance this tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I'm not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave-taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Where thou thy wrongs, the title is afeared. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, in the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions. Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned than evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. but there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. And my desire, all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance, and nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne, and fall of many kings, but fear not yet. Take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for their wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer-seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear, Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will, of your mere own. All these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting into many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of Concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland. Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern. No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptered, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed. And does blasphemy his breed? Thy royal father was a most sainted king, the queen that bore thee. Oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well, these evils thou reapest upon thyself hath banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. And for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own. At no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old Seaward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. Just hard to reconcile. See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that makes us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knells, they are scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying where they sicken.
Oh, relation too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No. They were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a hoarder of your speech. How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was, to my belief, witnessed the rather for what I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland will create soldiers and make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be to their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us a good seaward and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier, none that Christendom gives out.
What I could answer is comfort with the like. But I have words. I will be held out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mine that's honest. But in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner whereon the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What man, ne'er pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too?
Wife, children, the servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hell kite! All? What are my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? And would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am not for their own demerits, but for mine. fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart. Enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue, but gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length, set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come. Go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
They leave, filled with the resolve for war. The great hall of Macbeth's castle. Enter a doctor and a gentlewoman.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When is it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You made to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech.
Enter Lady Macbeth with a taper.
Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I've known her to continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes for her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out. Don't spot out, I shriek. 1, 2. Why then, it is time to do it. Hell, it is murky. Oh, fie, my lord, fie. Thou art a soldier and afeard. What need we fear? Who knows it? When none can call our power to account. Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The vein of 5 had a wife. Where is she now? Rule his hands. No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You marvel with the starting.
Go to, go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Yet here is the smell of the blood. Still. Oh, perfumes of a rider. Oh, not sweet and bliss. Little.
What desire is there? The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well, well, well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who have died hollowly in their heads.
Wash your hand. Put on your nightgown and look you not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo is buried. He cannot come out on's grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. There's a knocking at the gate. Come, come, come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Lady Macbeth exits, never to return to the woman she once was.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds, due to their deaf pillows, will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove her from the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes on her. So good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Exeunt. A tavern, far away from the castle of Macbeth. Lennox, Caithness, and Angus enjoy a drink. Enter Ross, disguised.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenges burn in them, for their dear causes would, to the bleeding and the grim alarm, excite the mortified man.
Near Burren Woods, shall we meet them the way they are coming?
Who knows if Donald Bane be with his brother?
Certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murderer sticking on his hands? Now minutely revolts, upbraids his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title? Hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly weal, and with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs, to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Borne.
Exeunt. The throne room of Macbeth's castle. Enter Macbeth, the doctor, and some attendants.
Bring me no more reports, let them fly all. Till Birnam Wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. Where's the boy Malcolm? Is he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee back, thou cream-faced loon! Where gotst thou that goose look?
There's 10,000
Geese, villain!
soldiers,
Or
sir.
prick thy face and o'erread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, whey face?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses, scur the county round, hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased, pluck from the memory of a rooted sorrow? Raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on, give me my staff. Satan, send out. Doctor, the things fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull't off, I say. What rhubarb senna or what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hear'st thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Exeunt. The Burnham Forest. Enter Malcolm, Macduff, Ross, and Lennox.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bow and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery ere and report of us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
Exeunt. The throne room of Macbeth's castle. Enter Macbeth and Seton.
Hang on our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours? We might have met them tearful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I've almost forgot the taste of fears. Time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fellow hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as if life were in it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace. Day to day, to the last syllable of our thoughts of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a waking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the sage, and is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Enter the fearful messenger.
Gracious my lord, I should report what which I say I saw, but not know how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me enjoy your wrath if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
Thou false upon the next tree shall thou hang alive, till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes to Dunsinane. Arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is no flying hence nor tarrying here. Again to be aweary of the sun, wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarum bell! Blow wind, come rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Exeunt. The base of Macbeth's castle. Enter Malcolm, Macduff, and their army.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath, those clamorous harborings of blood and death.
Alarums ring out through the halls of this once lively castle as they leave to carry out their invasion. The throne room. Enter Macbeth.
Sorry, I lost the page.
85.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none.
Enter Macduff.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back, my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Their blades clash in a flurry of rage.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou in entrenchant air with thy keen sword impresses make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests, I bear a charmed life.
which must not yield to one of woman born. Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. Cursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. Be these juggling fiends no more believed that palter with us in a double sense, to keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee. Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rare monsters are, painted upon a pole and underwrit. Here may you see the tyrant. I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet. To be baited with the rabble's curse, the Burnham wood become to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, and I will try the last. Before my body I will throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold, enough!
They exit, continuing their fight. Enter Malcolm, Ross, and Lennox.
I would the friends we lack were safe arrived. Macduff is missing.
Macduff returns, carrying Macbeth's crown.
Hail, Cain, for so thou art. The time is free. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expensive time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. What more to do? As calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought by self and violent hands, took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
And so ends the reign of Macbeth, the king without an heir. And with his death cometh a new ruler. Wilt he share the same fate as his predecessor? Of his father? Only time will tell it if it be true. The offspring of Duncan can changeth the cycle of men, and the fate of those with power. Exeunt omnes.